What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Awakened Toast here, and today, welcome to a bit of an update video. This is something that I really don't do on the channel, because most of the time, I'm just covering a lot more VR content, but also in the same way, this update video is in VR, so in a way, it still is VR content. But like you guys can probably tell either in the title or the thumbnail, we have a really exciting project that I've been working on behind the scenes that I kind of wanted to catch you guys up on. So if you look around, you can kind of already tell what the theme of this place is. Today, what I have for you guys is a Pixelmon Island Survival. This is a series that I've been meaning to start for probably about a year now. We tried to do it back in 2021, and we just didn't follow through completely with it, and we still had a lot more progress to get finished with this build. When I decided to go back and work on this project again, mostly everything was corrupted. Like, almost everything that I worked on afterwards got corrupted and kind of just destroyed the motivation to continue this project. But recently, about like 2 weeks ago, I ended up picking it back up and just going and building from the ground up. The biggest thing about this I do want to say though is I'll be leaving credits down in the description and also on the screen for like the certain structures and other builds that other creators actually made on this island. So one of the cool things about this project is the fact that this is going to be available in VR. And like you guys can already tell, I'm already in my VR headset. But the cool thing is like I grew up on doing Pixelmon. Like, I remember when I got my first like laptop and I was able to play some Minecraft on Pixelmon, this was just like a dream come true because I was a huge Pokemon fan like as a kid. Like, I played all of the games leading up to about Gen 4, and then at like Pokemon Black and White is about the time that I stopped. But up until that point, I was a huge Pokemon fan, and I figured there'd be no better way to make some content on some Minecraft VR than to do my own Pixelmon VR survival. And this is just a project that I've wanted to do for such a long time, but like the commitment to it, like I didn't have the time necessarily to really focus like full on and just go like all in on making a huge Pokemon project. But currently at the moment, I've been doing so much work in terms of just like building this world and making it feel kind of like a Pokemon experience. And also on top of that, like I'm still debating whether or not to make this a online server compared to just a single player survival, because honestly, it'd be really fun to just like share this with you guys, but I don't necessarily want to put the map up for download until it's at a state where I'm really comfortable with it. Like, I want to make sure like everything that I wanted in it to be finished. Like, that's where I want it to be by the time that I actually drop the files or like drop the server for people to go and try this. But as for the most part, there's still a lot more progress to be made. Like, obviously with this place, a lot of this got corrupted, so right now a lot of these rafts and stuff are placeholders, but we already got 8 of the gyms created. We made them like super freaking difficult, so like you'll actually struggle when going against a lot of these gym leaders and whatever else. And also, there's a Squirtle here. Oh my god, and it's of course when I'm not like literally playing, dude. I'm never gonna find a Squirtle ever, but now I see him when I'm recording this little update video. But currently, at the moment, when it comes down to this map, I've just been working on building the world. Like, world building is my #1 thing. I'm just trying to get as much, like, trainers added, getting other buildings, and also just creating, like, more of a lore to kind of follow, compared to just having the experience just, like, plain old right there. But I do want to make a really big shout out to the person that created this map. Like, seriously, let me actually go and teleport using my little command here, because I can actually type these on here now. I love the fact that we actually got warps working in this too, so like in VR you can actually swap over to other spots, which I find really cool. So this map right here, this is huge, because right over here, this is where our initial intro was. This is the Flower Town, and the fact that it's that like big on the map, and the map is like this huge, it's pretty freaking nuts. Also, I need to update a lot of these other map pieces, because I've been adding a lot more things kind of in this section. At the moment, we already have all 8 gyms created. We got the grass gym, water gym, we got fighting, rock, psychic. We also have the bug type gym, and then we got a fire and ground type. So these gyms all together, I think the first gym literally starts at about like level 21, somewhere around there. I mean, honestly, I can just go and warp there while I'm talking about it. So I'm just gonna go and do that kind of while I'm spitballing some of my stuff here. But yeah, literally all of the gyms it's gonna be a pretty difficult challenge in terms of just like getting through them all, because most of the time in like a lot of the Pokemon games, the gyms are a lot easier. You know what I mean? And it makes sense because obviously their target audience is probably for people that are, you know, younger, but also there's still a lot of people like me that also play the games that are, you know, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. But what I wanted to do with this project is I wanted to make these gyms difficult. So I wanted to go a little bit like above and beyond and actually make a lot of these trainers EV trained. If you guys are familiar with any of that type of stuff, like I wanted to make sure these guys actually have some stacked teams where you're gonna struggle fighting them and you're gonna actually have to like train up and see if you can eventually beat them. Like obviously having a type advantage is gonna be huge in terms of like beating a lot of these gyms, but one of the big things for sure is the fact that, you know, them being EV trained is just going to add an extra amount of challenge. It also add a little bit more grindability in terms of just like playing this map and trying to train up your best party that you can in Pokemon. And like I said, just to start out, the first gym literally starts at level 22. So if that doesn't put a perspective on like where we already start and also like where we end, I think is like level 63. If I remember correctly, like that is the final gym and it's like already level 63, so that's already better than most of like the Elite Four in most of the Pokemon games, which I find super awesome because like I wanted to make this a challenge. I wanted to make sure like once I play through this, like I'm not going to be able to do these on my first tries. So I'm really excited to share this project along with some other people and also like maybe even pull some other people along for this project to help kind of build this world. And even these trainers, I still have to go and adjust his level because he's level 44, but for the most part I got a lot of these guys already balanced out and almost ready in terms of the actual battles. I mean, the gym leaders all already have like handcrafted teams. If I go over to like NPC, whoops, I can't type, I guess. NPC, we'll go and grab this. If I literally go and click on this guy, you're going to see his team. He's got a Garchomp, a Dugtrio, Swampert, Hippowdon, Golem, and a Rhyperior. And these are all from level 61 to 65, and it's wild. Like, they got some crazy attacks. I don't want to spoil them because, honestly, the best part about a lot of this stuff is figuring it out on your own and running through it for the first time. So I don't want to spoil much of that stuff. But seriously, just being in a VR environment that encaptures something that I've played for so long in my life, to now have it in the VR headset and also build my own world that I've always dreamed of, I find so incredibly awesome. Like this is so cool. This entire map wouldn't be possible without the people that have built like the original schematics and whatever else, and even just like the layout of this original map, because the layout of this place I did not build. I've only built like kind of like the extra structures, and I've done a bit of like revamping in terms of a lot of the template that was allowed to me. So biggest thing is like, don't give me all the credit because like I said, I just kind of used the tools that were given to me. But the world was majorly built by a lot of like fantastic talented creators in terms of like even building this gigantic Gyarados. Like, let me actually throw up my render distance so you guys can see this gigantic structure. This thing is beast, dude. Honestly, I can't remember how much I spent on this guy, but like this was an ad that I definitely needed in terms of just bringing this map together. Like seeing the scale of this in VR is so cool. Like, look at how big this Gyarados is, man. Like, I kind of wanted to make it feel like the Gyarados was like invading the island, but also not to mention it kind of encaptures the Cascade badge, or like the water gym. It kind of like brings, you know, a little bit more character to like this beach, water gym, whatever vibe, you know. Like it's really cool. And there's certain things that I don't want to spoil yet. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I want to talk about it in subtlety because there's a lot of things that I'm still building and I don't want it to be seen until it's already finished. I'm gonna go over to this and change the time to daytime so you guys can actually see what's going on. I mean, we already got the sunset coming, but let's just switch over to day because I like to see what I'm showing. The coolest part about this too is the fact like you'll be able to go and traverse this map with your flying Pokemon and whatever else, and it's kind of like your own open world. Like you can choose to challenge gyms in a different order. Like obviously enough though, they're all set at a certain level, so like if you decide to challenge a gym that's already like so high leveled, like you're gonna struggle a lot more than just going the traditional route of like, you know, the grass, water, and so on and so forth. But I wanted to make this experience a lot more like open worldy, where you can kind of choose your experience and how you want to play. And another cool part about this entire project is I didn't want to take away all of the aspects of like the original Pixelmon. So this map here is the adventure one. So you won't be able to break any blocks, but you'll be able to like interact with like the healing machines and whatever else, still be able to use warps and other stuff to that nature. But the one thing I wanted to make sure of is the fact that if any players wanted to play like the traditional Pokemon stuff, like alongside of their adventure here, you can actually go and warp over to a island that I just literally called, I'm pretty sure I just called it island. Yeah, so if you go and switch over here, this will allow any players to go and farm, go and mine, do any of their stuff that they've normally done in other Pixelmon servers and whatever else. Like, this will allow you your own experience. You can go and travel along, it'll create its own blocks, whatever else. You'll be able to find like other legendaries that spawn here, and you can even build your homes and just everything. Like, this allows you your Minecraft survival experience with the Pixelmon add-on. But the other island is more or less like your streamlined Pokemon theme. So with this, you have the chance to choose how you want to make your journey, which I think is going to make it a lot more fun and entertaining to play, and add a bit more of a replayability factor. Because a lot of the time when it comes down to Pokemon games, there's only like so much you can do until like you're kind of finished. I mean, granted, if you're a shiny hunter, like you have infinite content in terms of like trying to hunt shinies. But what I'm referring to is the fact of like just the gameplay aspects. Like, where do you go with your story? Like, what can you do after? And like being able to have an entire island to your liking, where you can create your own experience as well, and go and like craft your own Pokeballs, go and like mine and find a bunch of different ores, maybe even find fossils hiding around. Like, I just thought that idea added into the Pokemon aspect would be really cool to add on to this adventure experience. But yeah, so far we've got a lot of work done in terms of like the last few weeks. Because I mean, we worked on this project probably for about, I want to say, a good month and a half to 2 months. We tackled it with like a bunch of structures and whatever else, and kind of building like, you know, the gyms and all the NPCs, and just to create this experience that I've always dreamed of, especially to add the fact that this is in VR makes it so much better. But one of the things I do want to reiterate as well is that this isn't only going to be restricted to people in VR. Like, if you want to play this on your desktop and whatever else, and eventually even when I plan on getting like a server, like I would totally be open to people playing this on VR or desktop. I think it's just the idea of playing in VR is what makes this so fun for me. But I also don't want to restrict the other people who just don't have a PC build that can run, you know, Pixelmon or even just Minecraft in VR, you know? So I wanted to make sure that this actually opens up to as many people in the community and allows everyone the opportunity to go and give this a shot. But yeah, so far we actually got a lot of warps here. Like, we got most of the gyms all installed for the warp systems. We also got like the Poke Island, and whatever else that you can go and teleport to. But one of the things that I've been working on insanely is the Indigo League. Because if any of you guys have played Pokemon Fire Red, this is the vibe I wanted to bring, dude. This is the vibe. So this schematic was not made by me. I am not this talented, but boy, this just feels Pokemon, man. When I saw this and I was like, there was a free download for this schematic, I was like, holy cow. This thing is gorgeous, and seeing this in a freaking VR set, like just the scale, look at the ceiling, look at the glass, look at everything in here, and like I'm gonna be adding so much like other little things just to pull this experience a bit more together. But like for the most part, just even having this little template in here is awesome. And I'll be leaving the credits on the screen while I'm like talking about these certain structures, because I want to make sure that credit's given where credit's due. I don't want to say like, oh, this was made by me, because it seriously wasn't. Like, a lot of these huge like structures were not made by me. Like, I can make some pretty decent builds, but I'm not to this extent. Like, this takes so much creativity, and I don't have that type of ability to create something to this scale. But even over here, this was another schematic. I'll be leaving the credits on the screen as well for this guy. This one, I think, was only like 10 bucks to go and purchase. So I ended up purchasing this off of Magma Builds, and it felt instantly Elite 4. I was like, I can already see like how I can scale out all of my battles leading up to the champion on the top. So I still have to go and get all the NPCs added onto this, so then I can actually have that type of endgame content already made. But just even looking at this, like, I wonder if this will actually show really well in the headset. I'm gonna go and set this to nighttime, because I did replace some stuff on this section. It was like very subtle. Like I didn't do a lot of different stuff to it. But the only things I really changed in this area was a lot of these were anvils. So I ended up changing those from anvils into sea lanterns. So then you could kind of have like this this glow that goes around like the entire ring as you're like proceeding throughout here. Like obviously you're not going to be able to see that in daytime, but anytime that you're traveling up to the Elite Four at a nighttime setting, you're going to be able to see this with like the really cool skybox and whatever else. And I figured that this just, it really brings it all together, and I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. Yeah, thank you again to the people that actually created this. Like seriously, you guys are building my dream Pixelmon experience, and this is awesome. But one of the things that I've been hard at work with is building the badge system. So if you guys have ever played Pokemon Fire Red, you know that in the original games you had to like talk to the cops, and they would go and question you about what badges you had. So you had to go and like verify, like, oh, do you have the rock badge? Do you have this badge, this badge, this badge, this badge? So I ended up going and putting it upon myself to go and make an ID system where you actually have to go and turn in these badges just like the original games. So I'm actually gonna go and grab each one of these out of the chest because I think I do have them in here. So what I actually ended up doing with this system is you can go and talk to the police officer, and he'll say only those with the rainbow badge can pass through this door, kind of like the original Pokemon games. And then also he says drop your rainbow badge on the glass above the minecart to open the iron door. Your badge will return on the opposite side. So what you can actually do is you go and throw your badge here, sucks it in, walk right through the door, boom. Now you got your badge back, so you don't actually have to lose this when you end up going and going through your doors. I wanted to make this a lot alike to the original Pokemon games where you kind of travel through like your little thing and go and turn in each of your badges to prove the fact that you've actually gone through the game and progressed it legitimately. So there's a lot more work to still be done around here. Like obviously I still need to like build the building around this and like close it off and make it, you know, look more believable and not floating like this, because structurally this does not make sense right now. It really doesn't. But you know, we're in a world of Pokemon. Does it really matter about like structurally being correct? I don't think so. So either way, I'm really happy with how the system's coming along, like with the badge turn-in system and whatever else. Like so far, this has been coming along incredibly well over the past like week, and I can't wait to keep you guys like up to date with like what's to come and whatever else. I also got like the little minecart thing if you want to go and travel that way. And I don't know, there's so many little things that just scream Pokemon to me, and I love it, dude. I wanted to make sure that this kind of brought like the nostalgia of the original Pokemon games and stuff. And also, I completely forgot to mention too, let me actually fly back to this. So just to let people know, this actually is a ID system. This doesn't allow you just to throw like random ones on there. So like if you throw a different badge trying just to like skip these doors, there's no possibility that you'll actually be able to do it using this. You actually have to use the correct badge in order to get through this door, which is awesome. I'm so happy that it works the way that it does. But also, this is the cool section. Do I even show this off? I don't know if I show this off yet. Okay, so I'm gonna wait with that. But there's a pretty cool thing that I got kind of produced for that. I'm sure that even just looking at this, you can probably already tell the idea of what you got in there. I don't want to spoil how it actually works, but it's a pretty cool system, man. I'm super excited with how that's come along. But then also over here, we got another structure. I'll be leaving the credits on the screen for this guy too. This is a Cubone structure. So I figured to represent the fire gym, I wanted to make kind of like a lava skull that you could kind of travel through, just to kind of bring out the experience of the fire gym and whatever else. And when I saw the Cubone skull, I was like, this could be a really cool tie-in to a little Pokemon structure to throw into the map. So ended up throwing that in. Really like how that turned out. And currently where we're at is we just got the forest tree added, which again, credits will be on the screen for this guy here. But I just wanted to add a little bit of a theme that kind of represents the forest or like the bug type gym and whatever else. And I'll probably be adding like trainers like going up this little route thing here, so you can like challenge just to get an extra amount of XP before you go into the Elite Four if you need to do some power training and whatever else. But I figured this would be a really great ad, and also a really cool feature too is the fact that it kind of reminds me of Ironcrad. When I saw this, like the first thing that I thought of was like SAO Ironcrad, the floating island. I was like, this is perfect. I wanted to go and add that in as a little landmark for the Pokemon theme here. But currently, This is about as far as we are on the Elite 4 route. We're going to be adding in like a cave system over here where you'll be able to go and like fight elite trainers and just kind of travel through almost like the traditional Fire Red games. It's not going to be like exactly like reciprocating that. I'm going to put my own spin on it and whatever else. But currently, that's as far as we've made it on this build. So I'm really excited to share more about this project once we get closer and closer to having a stable release on this. But this structure here, this was my baby. I hand built this from the ground up, and with this tower I really wanted to make it alike to Silphco in Saffron City. If you guys have ever played the original Pokemon games, I'm sure that rings a bell, but I wanted to go and build kind of like the Silphco but make it all rocket themed. Like in the original games they kind of took it over, but in this one, this is like their own hideout. I wanted to have like a rocket hideout that you could go and travel to and go and explore just for an extra amount of story in it. And also for this too, I plan on eventually having this with like a bunch of trainers as well. I just haven't got to it yet because currently I want to work on just the structures of kind of building this world. But, you know, the trainers will kind of be the last, you know, plug and play when we're about ready to go and get this map ready for release. But I'm going to have this kind of like a little rocket route where you'll fight a bunch of other like rocket leaders and whatever else and other like Team Rocket trainers throughout that little tunnel that lead up to obviously the rocket hideout. But I do need to go and turn my render distance really low because this, I didn't realize how much this place lags if I don't have this on a low render distance. So as you guys can see here, this is the rocket hideout. I'm really happy with how this is coming along. I'm going to have to keep the render distance low on this because, like I said, frame rate is not a good friend in terms of, you know, playing this. So be warned, if you guys end up coming here in the VR headset, you're going to want to turn your render distance down because I think the glass and a lot of the other subjects that I've designed the place around with just cause it to be a little bit hard on your frame rate. Unfortunately, a lot of this was what corrupted in my original build, which really stunk, dude, because I put so much time into building this, and we're still like piecing together like how we had it before. But you know, as for the moment, I'm really happy with how it's coming along again. I mean, this was kind of the big demotivator once I lost like all of this progress. Like everything changed into just random objects. Like nothing was placed in the right spots. Like my entire save file was just like corrupted in this zone, which just like I felt so defeated, man. But either way though, I'm really happy with how it's coming along now though. We got like the elevator systems to act as stairs as you go and continue throughout this entire thing. I don't know if I'm going to show all of this because this is also a really cool section that I really don't want to spoil yet. But there's a full out floor system to this entire building, and the best part about this entire thing is on the top floor there is a boss that I'm sure that you guys will probably be able to guess in the comment section below if you've ever played any of the Pokemon games. Like we all know the Rocket Leader. I have him featured in one of the things there with also a little twist of a puzzle that you have to go and complete before you meet him. So I don't want to spoil any of that because I want to leave some surprises in terms of this game. So yeah, if you guys are excited for this project and are looking forward to some content made on this world, then be sure to let me know by dropping a comment down in the comment section below. And also, be sure to let me know if you would like me to create this as a open server where like anyone that wants to come and join in could go and try it. And maybe even just like, I don't know, maybe we can make it like private to our Discord members or something where, you know, anyone that's in our Discord or like in the YouTube community could play on this map, compared to just making it like completely open scale where other people could like grief and whatever else. Like I think it'd be kind of nice to keep it kind of low key and allow it just to like, you know, the people that support the channel and like follow this project. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's gonna be it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, keep it toasty, my friends. Laters.